There are so many interesting, horrifying, or downright weird things in this big world of ours.
Each week, we'll bring you a new true crime story that has little to no coverage in English.
Let us do the translations so you don't have to.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Petra. Welcome to our podcast, Translation Murder. And it is my turn.
I hope you brought some Lestadians to us. Like promised, like last time.
Oh yeah, true.
Because I was doing the editing for the episode and I was like, oh yeah. Haha, haha. Lestadians.
I was just thinking today that what was it that we talked about that Petra will bring? But it was that, yeah.
I brought just a regular killer.
Okay, next time then. I mean, we're not disappointed. I mean, any case is a good case, but...
Yeah. We'll keep it in mind for next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to keep you excited.
Yeah. You would have ruined the surprise. It would have been too easy. Like, yeah. Actually, it would have been no surprise. So.
Yeah. So this time I have a surprise case. No, this case is like, it's super boring. So I
picked for a podcast. Perfect.
But why I did choose this case, that there are some interesting aspects there that I thought could be interesting to discuss, or just, think for our listeners, especially with our different cultural backgrounds and justice systems in each country. Because I actually read this interview in the Finnish biggest newspaper, Helsingin Sanomat, a few weeks ago. And it was an interview of a guy who had committed murder and was serving his time in prison. So yeah, that's what I will be talking about today.
Okay, interesting.
I think we talked about this on one episode too, or maybe it was off air.
Or maybe maybe it was in the news episode where we talked about this.
I think we talked about this when we had lunch or dinner, or what was it?
Maybe.
That's what it was. That's what it was. For
yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you stopped me
true.
from continuing so that I wouldn't spoil you. But now the time has come. I will spoil you, or it's not spoiling. This is the show night.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So anyway, this is mostly based on his interview and some other articles I could find from about the actual case that happened. So the case itself takes place in 2011 in Punkalaidun.
That's not too far from where you live, Laura, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, where is Punkalaidun?
Mm-hmm.
No,
there are some Kisu foster homes in Punkalaidun, so that's why I know kind of where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've seen signs for it. So yeah,
not far away from kind of in the middle of Tampere, Pori, Hämeenlinna, somewhere there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we have our guy Tero Allén. I'm using his full name because he's literally giving interviews to the biggest newspaper in Finland, so I don't think it's very private anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Tero was a regular guy. He was married and he was working in metal industry, so like a physical labor. But he was a workaholic, so he would just work very long shifts and sometimes even sleep there at the workplace. So basically work was his everything. And what happened was that the company he was working for went bankrupt, and suddenly he's like, okay, so what are you supposed to do when you're not working? And of course he started the favorite hobby of an unemployed Finnish man, which is drinking alcohol. Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So basically he starts drinking a lot. He drifts into bad company, has these drunk circles. He's just drinking with them, his relationship with his family, sword. Yeah, anyway, he gets badly sorry, what's the word?
Alcoholism.
Alcoholism, yes. He gets severe alcoholism. And at this point, he's in his 30s. The doctor says that, hey, if you continue like this, you won't see your 40s. He did try detoxification treatments. Is that a term in English anyway? Like where you go and try to get rid of alcohol.
So he went to like rehab. I guess it's something
basically.
like
Yeah. But never succeeded really. So this was the background, and now we're in 2011. His life has gone downhill. He had no job, no family. Apparently also the drinking had caused or maybe triggered some mental illnesses. At least some sources stated that he had some kind of personality, like unstable personality disorder and bipolar. But I've understood that these are something that might not really pop up if you don't start drinking or using drugs. So kind of this, maybe he had them, maybe that was the reason of his workaholism, but anyway, the drinking triggered them. So probably not the nicest guy to hang out with, I would assume, at this point. So then he had a situation. He was previously living in Vammala, but he had lost his apartment. And now he was staying at his friend's, so-called friend's place in Punkalaidun. He had met this friend with the Finnish crime gossip magazine Alibi, or Alibi. How do you pronounce it?
Alibi.
Alibi, but that's Alibi in Finnish, the name of the magazine. They wrote that Tero had met this guy in a drunk tank in Tampere not so long time ago. So like a few months ago. So not really like a friend, but some kind of
a drinking buddy.
Yeah, drinking buddy.
Perfect place to meet a friend. Yeah.
Yes. And he was called Marko in this article, but we do not know if it's his real name or not. But let's call him Marko for the easiness of it. So the idea was that, well, he had lost his place. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't pay the rent, or maybe he was making too much noise with drinking and everything. But anyway, he was without a place to stay, so he would go to Marko's place in Punkalaidun, and the agreement was that he was supposed to be there until he will find his own place to live. So he should be searching for an apartment to rent. So, well, as we already could tell from the place where they met, Marko was also very fond of alcohol, and the co-living of these two guys was not peaceful. Days were kind of okay, but in the evenings they started to be so drunk that they would constantly have disagreements and fights, and not a peaceful living. So a couple of weeks.
Sounds like a fun place.
Yeah, fun life, just drinking and fighting. So yeah, Tero was staying there a couple of weeks. At some point, he actually hit Marko with a fist, just because they were fighting. He got angry about something, and at this point, Tero would actually go to hospital to request for a rehab treatment. But for some reason, the next day he returned. Knowing the Finnish system, it could be just that the hospital was, full, and they sent him home. Or
like if you see that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you see that someone is obviously struggling and whatever, that okay, try to find a place in another city at least, or I don't know if that works that way here, but okay, yeah.
Yeah, it might
I guess we
also be
don't really know that.
Yeah, that he just left. Because that's often when you have alcoholism, you're like, okay, I want to get rid of this. And when you start to feel a bit better, you're like, no, actually, I want to drink. And then you leave.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you would be forcefully held there. It's treatment. And if you don't want it, you just leave.
Yeah.
So he was admitted, but he stayed like one night there in the hospital and then came home the next day.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't really know. It just said that the next day he returned. So I don't know if he even started the treatment or he was waiting for it or he just drank the whole night. Who knows?
Okay.
But anyways, it was just said that at this point he kind of had some kind of like, okay, this is going too far. Maybe I should go to rehab type of moment at least. So
this was
yeah.
this was his second time. Like now he was just trying to go to rehab, but previously he had been to rehab before.
I don't know.
And it wasn't too successful.
The interviews say that he had tried rehab, but it didn't really state how many times. So maybe several times without success.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess that's the case usually with rehab, or
Yeah. It is.
But he does realize that he has a drinking problem. So he's not like kind of generally in denial about it if he does attempt it sometimes too.
I mean, that's the first step, right? That's like the first step, admitting you have a problem. So
Yeah. Or maybe people just constantly kept saying that to him. Who knows? I mean, usually, like when you're this deep, you realize that you have a problem, but it's more like, do you have motivation to do something about it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 7th of October. Tero is still staying at Marko's place, and they are having some kind of drunken fights. And Tero cannot remember much what happened, but at some point Marko was super drunk and he had a knife, like a small knife, in his hand, which Tero took from his hand and stabbed Marko with that. But apparently not fatally, as Marko would just move to sitting on a mattress in the living room and continue talking some really weird monologue. And Tero was getting angry about something Marko was saying. So this time he would go to kitchen and take a big kitchen knife. But after that, we don't really know what happened. Because the thing is that Tero doesn't remember.
Interesting. You remember
about
all that up until that point, and then you suddenly forget after you take the big knife.
He didn't really remember. Like he remembered these instances. That's how I understood it. That they were having a fight. He doesn't really know why Marko had knife, and like I can imagine this. Like you just have these little scenes in your memory when you have been so drunk, but you don't really have a continuing like this happened and then this happened kind of story anymore there.
When you just mentioned the first small knife, I was thinking that this could be kind of considered in like depending on the circumstances, but it could be like a self-defense kind of situation or more like an accident, but then okay, well, it escalated from
Yeah.
there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did. And the next thing that we know is actually emergency recording, because he's now calling the emergency number. And it is recorded. And in the recording, Tero tells that, oh, I've stabbed this guy, but apparently he's still wheezing, so wait a minute, I have to finish it. And then he stabs him again and says, okay, now I've killed a person.
Oh wow.
I'm
So
sorry. I didn't
okay,
mean to
now
laugh.
you, yeah, I
I'm
mean,
sorry. I didn't mean to laugh, but I always laugh in really uncomfortable situations, so that was surprising.
This is very grotesque, the whole scene. So
Holy fuck.
yep.
I was not
yeah.
expecting that.
Now
Okay.
we understand why there wasn't really, accident or defending yourself type of thing in
Oh
the quote.
god. Fucking hell. Yeah.
Wow.
So, well,
I wouldn't say that this is a boring case so far.
yeah,
No.
but I mean, there's no surprises. Like, there was two drunks, and the other one stabbed the other.
I mean,
So,
that was pretty surprising, though. Like, the call, oh, I'm going to finish it up. Like, I kind of want to hear the call, just because I want to hear his affect, like how is he acting? Is he acting, well, obviously drunk, but is
Yeah.
he so matter of fact? Is he like, oh yeah, well, put him out of his misery, need to kill him? Or is it like, I kind of just want to hear how his voice sounds, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I can send you the quotation in Finnish. Maybe that gives kind of more
that could be good.
more context, like the nuance, how he was talking.
Yeah.
That kind of, like, oh, damn, I killed a guy kind of attitude. Not like, oh, what have I done?
Yeah, that's what I was figuring it was going to be like, so, no.
So, well, yeah, he has now done the call, and he's just he waits in the apartment, police arrests him, and, clear thing. First, Tero would think that, okay, probably I will get like a manslaughter, drunken fight, things happen.
Well, I mean,
But-
without the call, maybe.
Yes. And that's what he also said in the interview. Like, well, there was total 19 stabbings. He stabbed the guy 19 times.
What?
And he was also like, yeah, probably shouldn't have done the last stabbings. Like, that
Like the
there was
last
a threshold
18
where it
or
crosses
something.
manslaughter very clearly.
Fuck. I was expecting like, okay, one stab. Okay, it sounded like he was hit in the lungs or something since he was wheezing or something, I assume. Or he had like a collapsed lung or whatever, and then okay, one stab or couple stabs, maybe like, okay, less than 5 to finish him off, right? But fucking hell.
19 is over that threshold, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't know if there's any really numerical threshold for this, but the point is that you have the court stated that Tero had a clear intention to kill the guy. Like, you don't stab someone 19 times if you don't want them dead. Even if you're drunk.
We already know that. Yeah, even in self-defense, if you stab someone that many times, you're really like, okay, not okay. That was a bad choice of words, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, and just as a detail, he had 3.50 milligrams per liter alcohol in blood, which is
what's the
quite
legal
strong.
limit?
For what? Murdering?
No, for the oh fucking yeah. What's the cutoff? Like, how much alcohol can I have in my blood to be acquitted of murder? Do you know, Petra? Do you happen to know?
Well, no. I mean, you mean driving?
Yeah, driving.
Or sorry.
I just assumed it's driving. I didn't really think about it. But yeah.
I mean, walking
I
can
just
be anything, I guess.
I actually did
Sorry.
check this, but now I didn't take it.
I'm curious too, because I never remember these numbers. So it's like sometimes you hear in an article or somewhere that and this much alcohol was in their system, but
1.2. What?
There's almost
Isn't that
3
quite
times the
high?
limit.
No. Sorry, I read the wrong. 0.5. Yeah.
0, okay,
Ah.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And törkeä, the bad sentence will be. You get a higher sentence if it's 1.2, and 1.0 is
okay.
the first threshold. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think generally it's like for many people maybe like 2 small beer cans or 2 beer cans you can drink without
Mhm.
getting over 0.5. But I really recommend that when drinking, no driving, because you can never know how your body is dealing alcohol
Yeah.
today.
That's the
Yeah, it depends on like, how much food you're eating as well, and like if
Exactly.
you're on any medications or
Yeah.
whatever, if you're tired already. So it's just better not to drink and drive anything. Or at least waiting, like
Yeah.
if you have a beer, wait at least an hour or 2 before, but at the very least.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyway, like 3 if it's over 3, it's just like, yeah, it's understandable that you have black.
Yeah,
It's very drunk state.
that's insane actually, because like 3.5 to 0.05, like what the fuck? Like, dear God. How can you have that much alcohol in your system even?
is it
Ah,
0.05 or 0.5?
0.5.
0.5. Okay, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, still,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
I would think I think like in your average night out that everything ends up nicely is probably like 1.5.
Yeah. This
You're
is
a
like
bit
7
drunk, but
times the amount. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But of course we have to take the fact that he's a
An
heavy
alcoholic.
drinker into
Yeah.
account. Like if I would probably pass out before I reach this level of alcohol in my blood. Like start vomiting, My body just
Yeah.
couldn't take that much alcohol.
Yeah.
I wonder how much alcohol the other guy had. I wonder if they did a blood test on him just to see, I don't know, just for comparison's sake, how belligerent the other guy, the victim was.
I couldn't
Marko.
find that fact, but don't know. I would somehow think that this would be relevant, but I really don't know like what they do as testing.
Yeah.
Maybe for the defense it could have played a role, but
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
role? Like no matter how drunk the victim was, it doesn't change anything here.
Or even for the prosecution, it could have been a bit better, because then they could have been like, well, the guy wasn't even that drunk and he was defending himself. But then, like, what story is this guy, the survivor, telling? Is it actually truthful that the other guy had a knife? And then, was it? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
could have been
I mean,
self-defense on
it's so
Marko's.
bad. It's so bad with the phone call that I mean, how could it be even made worse? So like
Yeah.
none of these probably even would help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what he says at this point because you have this phone call recorded when
Dear
he's like,
God.
"Oh wait, I need to actually finish this job first."
Yeah. So apparently he did, and the court ruled that it was murder, and he would get a life in prison. The sentence was read to him in 2012 in April, so a couple of months after the murder. He did appeal in court once, but it was rejected. And then he just said to the lawyer that no, I'm fine. Now I will start to actually live my life in prison. Like I just have to accept that I murdered someone. Because, I mean, what can you even appeal here, really?
Yeah. True. I mean, not even temporary insanity, I would think. I think being drunk isn't a cause for that, but...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then in the interview, he describes, like, that he... Of course, first, like, when he got arrested and he was in prison, it was very tough because, well, he was alcoholic, so suddenly he can't drink in the prison. And all the facts, what he has done, kind of start to come into his mind. And yeah, and then when he goes to the actual prison, he was quite in a bad place. At some point, he was treated in the mental hospital for prisoners. And, well, he starts to get gradually used to the life in prison, but still has, like, when, for example, he describes that when his dad died, he would just go all crazy and throw out things. And anyway, he wasn't get very stable guy. And the thing that kept bothering him the most was that he had no recollection what happened, like, before the murder. Like, what was the actual thing that Marko said that made him so angry that he would start stabbing him with... I mean, you need to be very in a state to stab someone 19 times.
Yeah, that's very true.
And he's like, I just can't remember.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't really... I don't know. I mean, of course, he could be making it up, but at this point, why would he say that he doesn't remember, even if he actually does remember?
It wouldn't change anything. I mean,
No.
what he could... In the interview, maybe he could be like, oh, I've been saying to everyone I didn't remember, but now I suddenly remember. I will tell my story. But no, he's like, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also be his mind protecting himself from the realities of, like, how stupid it was, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't a huge thing. If you just think about it, I think, like, for a like, quote unquote normal person, stabbing someone 19 times, it's like a pretty big leap to get there. But then for these two guys, it sounds like maybe, you know, like, violence was kind of a part of their daily life. They were arguing all the time, drunk all the time. So it's not such a big leap from that kind of a baseline.
True.
Yeah. So it might be just something like smallish that irritates him enough. And then the other factors, him being so drunk and the constant, like, couple of weeks of fighting. Yeah, like feeling some kind of hatred. But yeah, then in 2017, when he has been serving 5 years in prison, he is able to move to the open prison. I don't know how common open prisons are around the world, but
what does it
I
mean
think in
this
the
context?
Nordic countries, they are...
Yeah, I don't even know this concept. What is an open prison? Sorry.
It is open prison, like the Wikipedia page is open prison. So basically, usually you are not locked up in the cell. And so you can freely move, at least in the daytime, you can freely move around the premises. And often I think that you can get permission to just leave the premises and, you know, visit somewhere, visit the city. And
Yeah.
often, I think many of these just look like kind of normal apartments. You can have your own furniture there, but of course there are still strict rules that you have to obey and attend to the prison activities, whatever you might have.
Mm.
I mean, it sounds like it's kind of this in between step from from prison to normal life, so kind of a step towards reintegration.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
I
often
mean, it's
like
kind of, yeah.
it can be either like someone who has been in the prison for long, so that at some point, like, okay, this guy's okay, they can go to the open prison, or that the crime you committed is not going to risk anyone's life. So to my understanding, the financial criminals are often in open prisons because
Mm. Yeah,
they
you're not
don't
going to cause
attack
anybody harm.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just Googled it. Like, are there open prisons in the U.S.? Open prisons is unthinkable today in the United States, though in Scandinavia, such institutions are heralded as models of civility and rehabilitation. And that's from the Prison Legal News. But yeah.
Apparently, UK has quite a lot of them too. It seems.
Wow.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think like many years ago, I saw a documentary about an open prison in Norway. Maybe
Yeah.
was it like a
Yeah,
Netflix documentary or something?
I mean, when I think of like Finnish prisons, I think of this style already. You know, you have your cell or like your apartment basically within your little your little apartment where you can have a TV or Xbox or whatever the hell, like all of your necessities basically, and then you're just kind of like living there in an apartment, but it just so happens to be a prison at the same time. But yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's specifically the open prison. Of course, within non-open prison, closed prison, you have also different levels, like for the dangerous prisoners and less dangerous and whatever, and
Do you
also
happen
like
to
how old
know?
a prison is.
Do you happen to know? Like the prison in Sörnäinen in Helsinki.
Yeah,
Is that what type of prison is that?
that's a closed prison.
Closed. Okay. Yeah, I used
I
to
think
live
it's
like right next door to it, so.
yeah. I used to work next to it, so I would always cross by there. But
There's
yeah, that's a
also one
closed
in
one.
Hermanni.
That's
Yeah, I
the one
think
we're
that's the
talking about.
same. Yeah.
Hermanni. Yeah.
Oh, that's the
That's
same one. Okay,
I
okay.
misspoke and said Sörnäinen, but yeah, people get
But the
I mean,
next,
they're
yeah.
not too far from each other. Okay.
But
yeah,
the
they're next
prison
to.
is called Sörnäisten vankila, so
Oh.
yeah.
What about the one in Suomenlinna?
That's an open prison. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
how do you? It's not like it's impossible to escape from an
No,
island,
no.
No.
as
I
we
mean,
know, but
that's
a
the
bit
thing.
safer.
Like the joke of the open prison is that like if you don't come back, then like it's very you just leave. Like, hey, I'll go to have grocery shopping, and then the guard is like, okay, and I don't know what they do in detail, but you can leave open prisons for a limited time. So there are cases when people escape, but of course then you are an escaped prisoner. So
Yeah,
you either have
And I
to
guess then you're not
keep
gonna get back
hiding
in.
or
Yeah.
probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. You won't
and
get a
if you
second
escape,
chance for open
yeah,
prison.
exactly. Then you will go back to the closed prison.
For 5 years, and then you can try again.
Yeah, fuck.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it affects your sentence. Depends probably on the sentence. But well, I mean, this guy has life in prison, so his sentence can just continue if he is not nice. Yeah. So yeah, in 5 years. But I think this is just an interesting statistically. I guess even if you commit a murder, you go to prison. So it's possible that after 5 years, you get to move to the open prison if you act well. Yeah, and then in the interview, he states that in 2019, he started to accept the fact that he will never know why he murdered Marko. Like, not really know. And that he has just to accept that he has murdered a person, and that can never be really forgiven.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he kind of gradually started to get his life together, if you can say so. But he's taking part in volunteering, like giving food for people who have financial problems, and starts dating with someone who he met in the church. And yeah, also Marko's parents, when they were still alive, they asked that Tero would not visit their son's grave, but the parents are now dead, so Tero started visiting the grave, like taking care of it and just talking with Marko there. And yeah, currently he's still in the open prison. He's been there for 13 years. The average life in prison, according to this article, is 14.5 years. So
In Finland.
in Finland.
Mhm.
Yes. So potentially he could get out of the prison in 1.5 years. He says that his dream is to just live a normal life with his girlfriend, her cats, taking part in volunteering, keeping himself busy, but not overwork like he did in his previous life.
Mm.
And also retrospectively, he says that he's actually quite glad that he did get the sentence for murder rather than manslaughter, because probably the shorter sentence wouldn't have given him the opportunity to kind of change the direction of his life. That he would have served and maybe went back home and start drinking again. But now he has been there for so long that he has actually had the chance to kind of think what he did and what he wants to do from now on.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't obviously sound like he's a kind of a good guy, but
Yeah.
still, it's a little bit like, I don't know. This is one of those cases where I feel like yes, rehabilitation of a person like this is possible, because there were these, even though he was maybe, even before being unemployed and starting to drink so much, he might have been an impulsive person. So he might have had fights, or might have not been, the best guy ever, but his life went really, or spiraled out of control kind of, and then this happened. But it's still a little bit different from like a serial killer or someone who's kind of planning to kill someone. It's not like this was an accident at all, but it's a little bit better than the worst cases that we've heard about.
Yeah. I think I kind of wanted to take this because we usually don't have this perspective of the killer, other than like, hey, they were such a fucked up person, no wonder they became killers. This is more like a what happens to them afterwards kind of story. So yeah, who knows like what kind of life he would then live if he gets out of prison. But yeah, indeed it did, like, of course it was an interview, so he's telling usually people want to tell the good things about themselves.
Yeah,
He's
like
probably not
obviously.
sharing his darkest thoughts. So
I guess
but
hopefully he just stays off of alcohol and that'll solve things. But
yeah, like he doesn't seem like a guy who would murder anyone sober. So probably he doesn't start drinking, it will be okay for the general public.
Yeah, I mean, he still might have been like a more violent than average person before.
Yeah.
But I could imagine that under different circumstances, he would not have murdered someone.
Yes, I think so too. Like there are lots of people who get into fights and do some sort of violence, but never murder anyone.
Yeah. Still, I mean, of course, just have to comment this, like the 19 stabs is a little bit of a overkill, but
Literally.
I don't know. Like, yeah, exactly. But his life was so, I think, miserable at that point, like losing his apartment and then being in this, I don't know, very dark place and in this really bad sort of relationship with this friend and everything, that maybe from that perspective, it's, I don't know, it doesn't really make it better, but maybe it's easier to understand. But it really just shows that he has, even before this, he probably had some anger management issues, even if he wasn't going around stabbing people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, somehow I kind of feel that the prison, like, this is really an example of rehabilitation, because, okay, we did lose the human life there, but maybe we won't lose this human life. Like, he was kind of a lost case. If he didn't commit the murder, like, what would have come of him? Probably not much.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know. Again, this doesn't make it any better, but would this case be any better if this guy got a death sentence? What would it solve? This was just a
Yeah.
kind of
That's true.
question about the philosophy and moral of sentencing people in general.
I mean, yeah, it sucks that he indeed murdered someone. Like, I feel bad for Marko's parents and stuff having to live. I mean, okay, they're both deceased now, but it still feels like, I mean, I wonder what their opinion was. Like, they knew that he was going to get out, right? Eventually. So, how did they feel? I wonder. Is serving time for 14 and a half years enough for them? I always just wonder this. What is enough?
Of course, we still don't know if he will get out, right? Like, he is, right
It's
now,
not.
he's still in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if average life in prison is 14.5, it means there is much longer.
Yeah, there could be. Yeah.
But based on his life in prison this far, it doesn't sound like he's one of those guys who will be there forever.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like to me either. Hmm.
But yeah, it's a good question. Like, when you are the one who loses the victim, is it revenge that you want? Like, I just want the murderer dead. I just want them to be in the prison forever. I guess it's really, like, depends on the person and also the situation, like what actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I could never put myself in some of these people's shoes, of course, because I would never know how to fathom losing a loved one, especially a son or daughter. But I would just assume that I would be very, very angry and very, very, like, grief stricken. So of course I would want to get even, but knowing that that is also not the, I guess, the right way to live if you're bitter all the time. Trying to let things go is the best way, but I don't know. Forgiveness, sometimes it can be overrated as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, it's just just another kind of piece of the puzzle, just a little bit of another perspective, is that I don't know if it makes a difference for his family or not, but it's more maybe it's harder to accept when the victim is someone who's just, I don't know, like a totally innocent person walking about on the street doing their normal life. But Marko, and I'm not saying that he deserved to die, definitely not, but he had a high risk lifestyle. It seemed like he was also, not necessarily the most peaceful person, if it's true that he really was the one who first started attacking him, or they were fighting constantly. So maybe for his family, could be that it was not that surprising that something like this happened to him, if this was his kind of regular life.
Yeah. Yeah. there are so many aspects that affect how we or people see the what is deserved and what is not.
Yeah. But I do think that rehabilitation is still important in cases like this, or, in a lot of cases, not in every case, but in a lot of cases, it kind of gives also a positive example to those people who are maybe now in a really dark place or now are
Yeah.
kind of thinking that my life can never be better, but then, they can see that, okay, it can actually get better. I don't know if it's really the reality, but I would hope that this also gives some something positive to society as well, that this is not
Yeah.
necessarily the end of your life. Or I don't know, like I do think that in this case definitely a death sentence might not have been a good choice in any country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. But I'm also thinking that with these rehabilitation centers, there almost needs to be some type of, like, if you check in and then you sign yourself in, that they can hold you at least for a little bit,
Or you
or
mean
something
like
that you
for
can.
alcohol or drug type of
Yeah,
rehabilitation?
both,
Yeah.
both, I guess, or any addiction basically.
Yeah.
And like if you can sign away, okay, I want to be in here for 3 months or something, like at the very beginning when you're feeling, the worst, like you actually want to be, so you can't change your mind. That would be, I mean, okay, you're doing it under duress, of course, but I just feel like there would be so much better outcomes when it comes to this, because the guy got sober now, that he was able to be in prison. He wouldn't have been able to get sober on his own. So
Like
you need
exactly, that was a
help.
very harsh way of rehab, that you're just in
Yeah,
prison and
yeah.
basically
It
you
was the
have no
most,
way to
yeah,
drink.
yeah, exactly, the most harsh. And of course, you can maybe make some killiu or something in in prison. I don't know if they can in the
Yeah.
toilet, but still.
Then you have to be really desperate.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've read lots of stories where people who had severe addiction issues, either with alcohol or drugs, and then they committed a crime and got a bit longer sentence, that they were like really happy about it afterwards. That finally I got rid of my addiction, or maybe not the addiction, but like, you know what I mean, got rid of
Yeah, the
booze.
cycle of addiction. Yeah.
So, and kind of I was able to start over again. And I agree, like, okay, so that's the only way to get into that kind of treatment is to commit a heavy crime.
Yeah, which
That's
is
kind
really
of
shitty.
ridiculous.
Yeah. That's
So
what I
there should
think.
be some, I really agree. Could be like a system where you first agree, like, okay, 3 months, you don't let me out, whatever I say. And then they keep you 3 months. Then it's still like you're agreeing to the treatment, but you have to kind of agree to the conditions of the treatment right away.
Yeah. I mean, 3 months would be too short. At least a year, I think, would be, just to be sure. But still,
Yeah, probably.
I guess there's not enough resources for this type of facility, I guess, in the long run.
But a lot of things work this way
yeah.
in this society. That's really disappointing. Like not even just this kind of rehab situation, but also just, well, what I mean is that basically something really bad has to happen for the system to actually realize that we need to intervene and do something about this person.
Yeah, or it's too late before, you have some casualty or some major thing happen that could have been circumvented, but had to happen for this person to get sober, or
Yeah. So
is that it?
Yeah, I don't know if there's more to add to it. Hopefully Tero can keep on living a decent life, whether he's in prison or gets out of the prison. And I guess he has deserved his punishment, but I think also it is a good thing that he has been able to rehabilitate into prison.
Definitely.
Agreed.
So yes, with this peaceful ending, I will end my episode today.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Petra.
Petra.
This was really interesting. I don't think this was a boring case at all. I know what you meant by saying
yeah.
it's boring,
Yeah.
but I think this was actually very interesting.
Yeah, I think it was interesting too.
So what are we doing next week?
Yeah, next or in 2 weeks, I will be bringing a case from Sweden. I haven't decided.
Oh.
I have 2 cases that I'm trying to pick from. One's sad, and then the other one's even sadder for some reason. I don't know. So let's see.
I don't think we ever can have any like truly happy cases in this podcast. So.
Yeah, I mean, we could technically, like, if it's, I don't know, one of these Robin Hood kind of burglars or something like that, where, you know, he's not an asshole and doesn't kill anybody or something, but I don't know if there's
Yeah,
a case
that
like
can
that.
be a challenge for us to try to find a happy case.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a case from Sweden, and that is all I'll say. Well, relatively recent cases from Sweden within the past
Okay.
like 10, 15 years ish. So yeah.
Okay, looking forward to that.
I guess you can, if you're still listening to this, you can follow us on Instagram, and you can also send us suggestions or comments to our email at translationmurderpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening this week. Thanks again, Petra. Heippa ralla.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.